What kind of words do those guys use? Do they say merchandise and stuff? How does it work?
That's the way. That's the way.
What's the term?
A dolly, usually.
Does the gender matter? Or are boys called that too?
It matters. Merchandise is usually used for the boys, and dolly for the girls. For him, a 10-year-old boy is too old. A very little child, a 3 or 4 years old boy, or a 3 or 4 years old girl, likes to touch and lick a little weenie. And the intercourse is between the thighs and the buns.
What does the child's day look like? How many times a day or a week do they have sex?
It depends. You can't have a child for an hour. It's a whole day or a whole night event. At least for several hours.
Does it go on day after day? Or are there any breaks because of the drugs they're given?
No, no, no.
Or does it basically depend on the number of clients?
If one child is exhausted, there is another one.
While the first one is recuperating, right?
Yes, the child must eat something. They're also given some vitamins, something nutritious.
Are they drip fed?
Yes.
Do they get vaginal abrasions or something?
They get some medical care. Someone takes care of them so they function and look well.
So it's kind of breeding, human breeding.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes the children refuse to eat. Then they get injections.
It's something like a PTSD?
Kind of.
Are they injected with nutrients or drugs?
It may be drips or it may be injections. The women that look after them are kind of good aunties. Though some of them are not that good, as one of them pulls their hair until they do what she wants, or respond when she calls out their names, because at the beginning, they don't respond to anything, not even their names, as if the kid's completely turned off.
How many of those brothels do you think there are in Europe?
I know of about 4.
In which countries?
Belgium, Germany, Poland.
Where is the one in Poland?
Tri-City.
In a regular house as well?
Yes. Those intercourses take place before a child is taken away for organs.
Does the client have to pay more for that?
Of course. I believe the price amounts to... I mean, really, the whole team is engaged. So it must be around €500,000. And he's aware the child becomes useless after that.
Do those 4-year-olds live together with 7 or 8-year-olds, or do they go somewhere else?
No, 7 or 8 years old are good for regular sex. And those little kids are separated.
From what age can you have an intercourse with a child without risking tearing them apart?
Well, I'd say They can have regular sex from the age 6 or 8 and earlier. It is when recycling begins.
Recycling?
Yes, at a VIP price. VIP entertainment. He likes it when he shoves his in. Blood spilling. He massacres the child.
Does he murder the child or leave it to die?
Whatever turns him on. But then, the child is a wreck anyway.
How long can a child survive in such conditions?
If there's a client for the VIP, satisfaction, then it won't survive. Children who are 6 or over will pull through.
How long do they stay in a brothel?
Those kids are hooked on drugs, so I'm not sure. Until they turn 14,
What then?
they get disposed of.
Disposed of or sent to another brothel?
Disposed of. They're usually disposed of because they're no longer eligible for transplants.
Due to drug-related body exhaustion?
Yes. When the child is no longer attractive, when it's useless and can't be used for spare parts any longer, they make movies and post them on the dark net.
What exactly have you seen?
Suffocation during sex is a standard thing. It is a common fantasy. To be doing it to the very end.
What about non-standard things?
A non-standard thing is to simply everything up with your
In order to get to the truth, I spent several dozen hours talking to him.
A kid that already has some understanding of what's going on around them because, to some extent, a 12-year-old is aware of certain things. Is fed such a vision of life. Or death, actually, that, in a way, his reality becomes totally messed up. As there are perversions, where they get turned on by pushing sex to the insane limits, so that the kid takes their own life during an intercourse.
How?
For example, some kids slash their wrists or beg to be choked to death. They grab their hands and put them on their neck and squeeze them by themselves. That's what turns them on.
Do they have any sophisticated toys? Or are there no toys?
You know, I guess all of them have their favorite fluffy toys. Some have their favorite pillows. The kids often fight over their fluffy toys. Kids don't hug each other. They're afraid of being touched. They are. They seem to know. They're even afraid to touch their own bodies. I don't know any more cold-blooded woman than those from that brothel.
The ones that take part in all this?
Yes, the ones that allegedly look after the kids.
Are they ordinary women? Do they have children, husbands, their own homes? Or are they young individuals?
No, no.
More mature?
They're also European, and at least two of those that I have personally seen have brought their own children there. I'll send you a picture. I look pretty worn out because I'd been traveling. There are two girls there sitting on my lap. Those kids took to me so much, and I love children dearly. When I entered, they got pretty scared of me. Somehow, they caught my attention and my eyes smiled at them. My eyes, not my face. You just can't put it in words. One grabbed my leg, the other grabbed my other leg. I sat on the bed.
How old were they? Roughly?
About 10. They started singing songs for me, both of them, and both were jealous of each other.
How did they manifest their jealousy?
They just wanted to be saved. Something I couldn't do.
When talking to the trafficker, I knew I was looking at the devil in the eye. Do those people believe in Satan? How do they worship him? Are they deep in that occulate shit?
It's a sect. Those people don't even greet each other when they greet each other. I mean, they don't greet each other by just saying hello or good morning or guten Tag. Or whatever normal people say when they greet each other. That's not what they say.
So what do they say? Ave Satan or
No,
what?
no. They use completely different two words.
What words?
I'm not going to utter them.
Why?
I promised myself I'd never say them.
What if I turn the camera off?
Turn the camera off and I'll tell you.
Have you ever seen any Satanist artifacts when you went to visit those individuals? Any occulate objects like pentagrams, inverted crosses, or something?
There's a pentagram under that inscription.
Really?
That was there, man.
The dude has a pentagram in his house?
Yes. There are those words I told you they use to greet each other. That kind of our good morning. And there's a pentagram under them.
There is the evil one behind the children's suffering. It's obvious.
Working on a girl. It's not a quick and easy process. It doesn't take a day or a week. From my experience, I can tell you, it took us 18 months to work on a mother. She didn't know about it. But there was always someone watching her, whether she was taking good care of her child, whether everything was okay. At the same time, we pressed her relentlessly to abandon that bastard.
Did she sell her child to a brothel?
She didn't care. She took the dough, and that was it.
How much did she get?
She got around 10,000 euros in cash.
How old was the child?
4 or 5.
And she sold the kid?
Yes, she was happy everyone had left her alone, including the kid. She thought the kid was up for adoption by a good family, abroad.
Where did it go?
The kid was ugly. It wasn't very beautiful. And generally, she treated it in such a way that even I got to detest the kid as a result. But they gladly accepted it. She thought the kid was adopted, but in fact, it went for spare parts.
Whatever comes to light becomes known. I wanted the devil to reveal himself and show his true face. How much would I have to pay for a donor kit if I wanted to buy one from you?
Well, you know, I just get my cut. I can't really tell.
How much do you get?
I get 15,000 euros for abroad with a kid.
For carrying through the whole process of adoption?
Yes.
So if I ordered a child from you, how long would I have to wait?
Do you have any special requests? A boy? A girl?
Let's say I do, or don't. It'll be faster if I don't.
So, just a child, right?
Yes.
2 weeks. Contrary to what you might think, it's hard work, so I don't get a hard-on when I think about those girls. I'm not in a hurry, but I do get pressed. Every day, in the morning, I try to go by the book and use the power of positive thinking. Then I can see the nose and the eyes of a cute little doe before my face. Those little pets look so sweet.
How long does it usually take to bring a girl around?
Bring a girl around?
I mean, from the moment you meet her to when she decides to hand the child over.
2 or 3 meetings?
Unbelievable. How long are those meetings?
There's a party. I take her to a party, and I'll work on her then. I test her, but not only me. There are several of us. We help each other. I get help. We support each other and do the job. There's a reason why we're there. The girl decides not to fuck me on the first date. I don't give a fuck about her.
Okay, so what are the options from there? Brothel or spare parts?
It depends. If there's demand, they will even pull a child out of the brothel.
From the brothel for spare parts?
Yes.
So the parts are a priority.
Yes, absolutely. They bring in huge money quickly. I post an ad that I'm a businessman working abroad. I visit Poland once a month, and I need company. I want to be a sponsor, and girls reply. There are lots of replies. You test them. It depends on what you're after, whether we're after the organs or a child. What our living conditions are, and so on. Then you go and hunt the girl down. It sometimes happens those children are handicapped in some way. So you start working on that. Those girls are not particularly educated or intelligent. The child stands in their way. Taking a child away from them is not a problem.
So what qualities should an ideal child-dealing girl possess?
First of all, she must be selfish. You can see right away she's ready to kiss your ass and do anything you want. Since it's all about children, you begin by asking, do you have any children? Yes? What age? Let's say she's got a 6-year-old girl. And you immediately offer her a trip to, let's say, Mazari to sail in a boat there. She's on cloud 9. You take her there for 2 or 3 days, watch her whether she calls the child or her mother. Usually it's her mother that stays with the child and keeps calling. And when she answers her mother's calls, you hear what she says and how she says things, and whether she's pissed off. Then her mother calls again, and she's yours. You pretend you're having fun. We talk. I tell her she's got a cute daughter. Of course, I am proud of her. I took after her. It turns out she has children, and that's when he cuts in. Children? What do you need children for? Why would you take that on your shoulders? We kind of talk like a friend to a friend. And of course, we watch her reaction. If there's anything we can do at all, we work on her.
Let's say she agrees.
Yes, it sometimes happens, the girl tells you. You know, that kid, it's just trouble. And I don't know what to do with this shit and so on.
Do you think it'll be over once you bear the child?
Yes, I think it'll be all over once I have that child. Once it gets out of my body for good, it'll go to its world while I remain in mine. I'm not going to see it ever again. I won't feel it, I won't hear it. Many people won't understand it, but most of them have never been in such a situation. Carrying a child you don't want is so devastating to your mind that it's hard to imagine.
Despite what the women were planning to do after the child was born, the agent brought a layette for Marcelina.
Pat's for you.
Give me my stuff. I don't care about the child.
These pants let me less. They're awesome. This is a puppy's paw. Do you know why it's here? Because underneath it says, I love my mom.
Why have you covered it?
Because the child won't have a mom. But I've not covered, I love my dad.
We needed a midwife to help with the delivery. I set up a consultation, which, due to the COVID-19, had to be done online.
Have you been pregnant before?
No,
Whom are you carrying?
a girl.
What is her name?
Marcelina.
I hoped that conversation would stir some emotions in the mother.
You'll have contractions every 5 minutes. You'll watch them for an hour to see if they're getting stronger. The next hour,
Once again, please.
You got distracted.
I got distracted. I'm basically trying to give you a patchwork of specific information.
it's difficult.
I'm not getting attached. It's not difficult. I don't care whether it's difficult or not. I just don't form any sort of attachment. I just want to learn some basic stuff and go and bear that child and end my adventure with it. I don't want to elaborate on that.
I'm not even asking you to.
I approached my interview with the trafficker as if it was a police interrogation, where you often go back to the same issues in order to establish the truth.
I found about 500 such girls on the internet. If a mother goes abroad to give her child up for adoption, the mother ends up in a brothel, and she gets hooked on drugs. And so does the child. A child is a kind of merchandise that brings pure profit as it requires no investments and earns its living by working in a brothel. And when there's a bid for an organ, it goes on an operating table for disassembly. The mother also goes for spare parts.
Were you afraid of meeting such a person?
No.
How come?
I believe a person should be approached in a holistic manner. There's a task to be done. Since he's a professional, I also try to be professional without asking unnecessary questions. Brief statements, short questions, whatever I need to know, whatever's essential.
Did he make a good impression on you?
He won me over with his approach and composure.
Those girls think they'll return to Poland with a lot of money. They think they'll get rich, but are unaware they're on their way to a brothel. They don't know what'll happen to them, or that they'll get hooked on drugs or lose their freedom. Do you know what I felt while recruiting those girls? I didn't give a shit about those girls and their kids. All I cared about was the money. The adoption of a child is carried through in such a way that the girl gets married to an Arab, a Muslim. The Muslim law allows marrying even underage girls. Then he gets to adopt the child. He takes the child away to his country, a Muslim one, in a legit way. In Muslim countries, papers are easy to get. For 50 local dollars, you can get any document you want. Changing the first or last name is not a problem, and so any trace of the child is lost.
What then?
They go to Egypt for a couple of days. They get new papers through some formal correction of the name and the last name in a matter of hours. And the child returns as a completely different person. It returns to Europe, to the brothel, and no one is ever looking for that child again. The trace is lost. A child had left. It had a name and a last name, and a different person came back to Europe later.
And the mother?
She goes to a brothel in Europe.
What does it look like when they bring you kids for sale from Ukraine?